now. All right, so now we're recording. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Getting Started, Your Portfolio Started workshop with Cargo Collective. My name's Bailey. I'm the director of the Center for Life and Work. If you probably have heard about this event from the Center for Life and Work, but just to let you know a little more, we are the kind of career services entity on campus at CalArts that help you take steps forward in your own professional development to enter into the creative economy and help get you jobs and internships and opportunities like that that connect the real world to what you're doing at CalArts. One of the really exciting things we have going on right now is we have a partnership with Cargo Collective. They are offering free sites and software that they're going to tell you more about today for all students at CalArts and for the graduating class of 2020. So if you just graduated, you also have a year of free software, and normally it's about $99 a year. So this is a really valued partnership that we have, especially in a moment where everyone needs an online portfolio to showcase what they're working on and what they're doing, and to sell your artwork and your merch and everything as well. So I also want to tell you a little more about Compass. Compass is our new kind of all-encompassing career services management system that we have with Simplicity. You can find it at compass.calarts.edu. It has a job board. It's how you sign up for advising appointments with our office. And it's also how you find events like this. So we have events going on every week throughout the summer. Sometimes they are an alumni guest speaker talking about their own entry into the creative economy after their time at CalArts. Sometimes it's a little more of a hands-on workshop like this, but please check out all of our things on Compass, and let us know if you have any questions. Feel free to email our general email account at clw@calarts.edu, or you can email me directly at bcool@calarts.edu. We are recording this, so if you do have to leave early, we're going to be posting this recording and sharing it out afterward. So if you do have to leave early and have any questions, feel free to let us know later, and we can connect you with the Cargo team. But I also want to encourage you throughout the presentation to use the chat function if you have specific questions about your portfolio, about getting started with it, about some of its capabilities through Cargo. Feel free to put those questions in at any time, and then we'll shift over to questions after about 30 minutes or so. So please feel free to turn off your video screen, to mute yourself. And if you want, you can go into the view so you can just view our speaker. And I'm happy to introduce our speakers today. This is Rue and Folkert from Cargo Collective. Thank you guys for being here. We're so excited to have you. And I'll, like everyone else, turn off my video and kind of turn that over to you.
Awesome. Yeah, we're excited too. It's fun to show people around and how to use Cargo, because it's also a learning experience for us, seeing what people really respond to, and we're excited to see what you guys make on Cargo. You want to add anything to that?
No, that was perfect.
Awesome. So since we have only an hour, there's quite a bit to show you guys. And I think first we can just start off by showing you our templates and some of the sites in use on Cargo. I think we can start there. And here you can see, I don't know how many we have at this point now. It must be
hundreds, yeah.
Hundreds, maybe 1,000 or more.
Just featured.
Of featured sites on Cargo, and we do a new batch of them every week. There's maybe 3 or 4, and these are all sites found on Cargo. So nobody here is asking to be put up, or none of these are promotions of any sort. These are all just sites that we find on Cargo and feature, and they're featuring amazing work from all, photography, all disciplines, photography, design, what be it. So when you're on Cargo's homepage and you're looking around, you'll see there's templates, and we have maybe 70 or 80 templates now. These are all geared towards visual portfolios, but that doesn't mean you can that you can't do a site that features just writing or poetry or anything that's you know, meant to be displayed on the web. And so there are small, medium, large size templates that we've kind of designated based off of the amount of work that they're meant to handle. But that doesn't mean that any template is something that you're stuck to in terms of the structure or the design. And I think that's really the core message that helps demystify how to use Cargo, which is really that it's a design tool just as much as it is a site builder. And to make a site doesn't require designing something in Photoshop or InDesign or any Adobe program that that you guys are using, Figma, whatever it is, that you actually make your site on Cargo and design it at the same time. Because I liked what Bailey said, is that it's a software essentially to make any type of site that you're looking to do, whether it's a little one pager, right? So we have this is just a one pager that's kind of fun, and you can drag around some images. Here's another one. And you can see there's images scrolling in the background, and we have this large text as a navigation. And then there's larger templates. And so here's a great example, Scroll, which has a lot of images. So this is meant to be a bit more of like a photography portfolio, right? Or you can even do like an editorial type of piece. And then we get into some of the more complex ones where you can have something scrolling on the left, something scrolling on the right. You have light boxes with images. And we even have, this is something we just came out with as well, a full featured shopping functionality called Commerce. And you can add something to your cart. So Cargo is meant to handle any size site, really. And I think what you guys are probably most concerned with is making portfolios. So let's start by finding one that we like. One of my favorites is Object International. I'm gonna go look for that. There we go. We have a lot, so you got to look for them sometimes. So here is Object International, and here we have this left navigation, and we have some images and columns. We have text. There's a navigation at the bottom. So this is one of my personal favorites, and in order to show you guys that making a site doesn't really require starting from a template. So we use this term template on the web, right? And that term really has evolved over years of different site makers, but it really means essentially now that you have this rigid structure that you're stuck to. And with Cargo, these templates are really starting points to making anything else that you want. So let's start with the most basic of all the templates that we have, which is Untitled. And this is just a single page. What I want to do is show you guys how to make Object International by using this template, which has nothing in it. It's just default everything. So I'm going to start, and we're going to enter, I'm going to call this Cal Arts. Don't you wish you know what the password was? I call it Cal Arts demo site. Chrome wants me to save that. So now we are in the admin, and here there's really three core tabs that organize everything inside of your admin, and that's the design tab, the Content tab, and the Settings tab. This Settings tab, you'll see the information that you just entered. There's a bunch of other exciting stuff, more exciting for me than for you. But on the Design tab and the Content tab is where we're going to be focusing today. The Design tab is really how you make all of the visual decisions that dictate the look and feel of your site, but you also have a lot of control within each and every page. So by starting, let's just take some content, and I've taken some content from the Object International template and already saved it. And so here is my first page. I have a few of these images, right? Let's actually just go look at what that page looks like on the template. So let's find, I think it's Thomas Kuhn. So we have a single image, and there's a title in here. There's a paragraph, and we have like a little header and a couple more images. Pretty simple page structure. And so what I want to do is I'm going to go into this page because I don't want this default page, but there's multiple ways of getting into that page. If you click on the Content tab, you'll see this list of pages, and you can also click directly into the content on the left window. And to add content, you can type. So this is a new page, right? I have my content already saved in a text document. So let's take the title. So Thomas Kuhn. And now I want to put an image in there. I can just, let's find the image that I want. I can just drag this straight into the page. And now I'm going to clean that up. Now I want to put some of the text that I have. And so, in most cases, you aren't going to have your content just in a text note, ready to paste. But in this case, that's what I'm doing. And I'm going to make this into small. And so you have a bunch of different type options, right? You can make your font small. You can have a paragraph size. These are all kind of existing typography rules set on the web as they are now, right? So this I want to be an H1, which stands for heading. This I want to be smaller, and I want it to just be like a subtle title. And here, as I'm editing, I'm just editing live in the page. I can tab that in and align these nicely. It looks pretty cool to me. And this is really like a reference to a book, right? So I want to make this bold and separate that a little bit. And so this is how I edit content inside of a page, but I'm not really happy with these fonts that come in this default Untitled template. I want to go and change them. And so here's where the biggest difference in understanding what your visual or your design settings are in the site, and that on your Design tab, these are the global settings that will change the appearance of every page on your site. However, inside of the page, I'm going to click on the left to go in there. Inside of a page, you also have all of those options, and you can override the options that you set on the Design tab. So let's go back to the Design tab, and I want all my font to be Helvetica. So I'm opening up the font picker, and we have, I can't even count how many fonts we have now, but we have a really cool partnership with Type Network, and we feature a bunch of amazing fonts. We also are constantly adding new open source fonts. I have a little list of pretty hot ones to add this week. And so I'm going to scroll down, and I'm looking for Helvetica, and actually I can just type that in. So here's Helvetica. Now, when I click that, you see I can change everything on the left, right? So I can change it to bold. I have some other more decorative fun fonts, but for this site, let's use Helvetica. And so when I made that small text as the title here, I want that to be also Helvetica. And maybe let's make that a little bit, let's make that smaller, maybe like this. And also this is a little large, I think. I want to do something like that, right? So now, how do I make this page on the right and have a navigation on the left? And so as you go through Object International, you'll see that every page on the right, it looks like it's like 60 or 70% wide, but they all stay on the right. And so I'm going to use the width slider on the design tab. Remember, these are global options. So everything you change here will happen to every single page on the site. So now I'm going to make this like, let's see, let's go maybe like 60. And here I can align it to the right. So everything will be aligned to the right. Every page will look like this. And I think I want the padding to be a little bit less. Maybe let's do something like that. All right, so this is actually starting to look pretty similar to this, right? But now I want to go back into that page and I'm going to add a couple more images. And so let me just drag those images into the page, right? And you can drag them straight into the page. You can go into the images library, upload a bunch of photos at once if you want. We're going to wait for those to upload. And so I'm going to drag this in there. And I think I want this one above it. And actually I changed my mind. I'm gonna just select this image and Command X to cut it. And I'm gonna paste that back above. Cool, so I'm pretty happy with this, but now I wanna add, let's see, I think that H1 is too big. So I can actually go into this design menu and in this page, I can make this H1 a bit smaller, right? And this will only affect it for this page. But by doing it in this page, I won't have that change in all the other pages. So maybe it's a little smarter to do it on the design tab where it will affect every single page. So let's see, I think that feels pretty good. So we have a page, we've added some images, and now how do we make this into a site, and how do we add a navigation? Well, most traditional site makers, you have some type of automated navigation that just pulls all the pages, and sometimes you can, check some boxes on and off of what pages you want to use. But on Cargo, we want you to have that flexibility of being able to change the styles. Maybe you want to have a navigation that's only images. So like we have this template where on the right, the navigation, very similar to Object International, where it just scrolls and the content stays in one section. And but it's all entirely images. And so in order to do that, we're just going to make a page. So this page, so let's call this site the CalArts demo site, right? And let's trademark that. And so I'm going to select this text. And if you click on this little ... in the, this we call the formatting toolbar, you have a bunch more options of what you can do to your text. And so I'm going to make this a superscript. That looks pretty cool. And now let's make our first link. So that first page we made, I think that was, who was that? That was for Thomas Kuhn, right? So I'm going to type in, oh, that's all caps, Thomas Kuhn. Now, how do I make this link to a page? I'm going to select this text, and you see this link icon in the formatting toolbar. You can set it to be an internal link, and here will be all of your pages. And so it looks like I forgot to name that page by Thomas Kuhn, but I'm going to select Untitled Page, hit save, and now I'm going to exit out of here. I'm going to click into this, and I'm going to rename this page Thomas Kuhn. So if I go back, now I need to reset that to Thomas Kuhn. Okay, so now I have a link. And now how do I make this go to the left? Again, we're going to override our design options, which are global from the design tab. But what we want is this page to be on the left. And because I made all the pages 60% wide on the right, I want this to match that. So let's say 40%. So now that's on the left. And how come my page isn't showing up? What you can do to make a page into a navigation menu or visible everywhere on your site is you can pin that page. And when you pin it, it's available everywhere that anytime you're on any page throughout the site, this page will be pinned. And so I can change some of these settings, right? This is overlaying. And so when I scroll, it goes away with the page, but I can set that page to be fixed, meaning it stays to the bounds of the windows at all time. So when I scroll, this is staying there, and I can hit save. And so let's go out of the admin, and you can just close that, and you can kind of see what this looks like. And by the way, we added this a little while ago, this little arrow where you can go in and out of your admin without closing the admin, and you can continue typing, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to click into this page and add some more text, So I'm going to go back into the admin. So now we have our left navigation, and we have a page. And I actually want, if we're looking at this template, right? Everything in the navigation is the same font size as this H1 that we added in the page. And you can see the body copy is a little bit smaller. So what I want to do is go into this page, and instead of making this, all H1s, because we're going to have links, we're going to have, an ordered list. So I can actually select this, and I'm going to make this into an ordered list, right? So instead of making that all wrapped with an H1, I'm just going to change the font size of this to match. So that was a 2.2. So now all of this lines up and it's the same size. And so here is a great example that you can override your global settings, but you can achieve any design that you want within a page. But this page is just a page. It's no special navigation menu that pulls in anything else. So if we want to make another page, I'm going to click this little down icon when you hover over the page, and I'm going to hit duplicate. And when you duplicate, you get an exact copy of the page that you duplicated. And you can go in and start deleting these images, right? So I'm going to add, let's see, Ursula. So now I'm going to drag all of these images in there. Wait a second for them to upload, and actually we can, while they're uploading, we can open up this text. So I'm going to paste this into my page. And I'm going to replace this. Make that bold. Now that my images are there, I can drag this one in. But I actually want to do something a little more like this, where I have two images next to each other. And so there's multiple ways to do that. The easiest is to just click above it, and I can make a set of columns. And in here, you can add multiple columns. So I have 4, And now I want to go back to 2, and I can just drag this image right in there, and I can drag another image right next to it. And I think there's a little extra space, so I'll delete that. Maybe I'll add a little more up here. I kind of want this to line up nicely with the images and the top of the menu. And now we got 3 more images. So let's just select all 3 and drag them in. And here's another way to organize your images and make a gallery, is that the image gallery button down here will take as many images as you give it, and you can format it in a bunch of different ways. So this is the columns layout, and the columns layout will give you a specified amount of columns, but you can also maybe it won't be so apparent there, but you can make it into rows where everything will fit magically in line. I can drag another image, and you can see everything just kind of magically fits into the image gallery, and slideshows are also included in that image gallery. So now I have a slideshow, and I can change I can turn off the navigation. There's a bunch of options that you have with image galleries. But for this, what I want to do is columns, and I'll delete these images that I already have at the top of the page. And you can also go in and click on the image and add a caption. So let's give these some type of index feeling. So 001, let's call this 002B, 003. And so it just shows up as you add everything. Everything is added live as you're editing it. So when you hit save, now this is what my page looks like. And so I'm going to rename this to Ursula. Let's go and copy her name. Ursula, there you are. And I'll click into this page. I'm going to make a number 2 item. Oops. Looks like I had an issue there. There you go. So here's Ursula, and when I click into this link, I can reset that to the copy of the page that we made, which I should have named as Ursula. So now we have 2 pages. And how do we make this great homepage that is just a bunch of images, full scale, so you can see all the details and then click into the page? So what I'll do is make another page, and because everything is set to be 60%, it'll start as 60% here, right? And I can open up the images menu, and here's all the images that I've already uploaded to my site. And I'm gonna let's take this one, and let's drag that into the page. And now let's take this guy, drag that into the page, and I'll select this, and I can make a text, just like I made with a text link, I can make this image into a link to my relevant page. So that's for Thomas. Oh no, this is actually Thomas, I believe. So let's make that Thomas, and let's make this Ursula. And so I want this image to bleed to the edges instead of having this padding. So I can go again into my design menu for this page, and I'm just going to drag this padding slider down. And now I have a full scale image. However, I haven't changed these pages. And to make that my home page, all I have to do is click that little down icon again and click home. And now we have our home page. So let's go back into here, into my navigation. And I want to get this cool tabbed in structure. And there's a bunch of ways that you can do that. but the easiest is to open up this little additional section in the formatting toolbar, and there's a text indent, and now that's tabbed in, and I can add a break here, and let's call this edition 1. And so now let's close out of here actually, and let's look at it. So now we can click onto this page, and we can go back into the admin. And how do we add this logo page? So this rotating effect is actually a customization, and you can find a bunch of customizations on the cargo support page. But for now, we can just make that page. And so what we want to do is make a blank page, and we'll upload our logo, and let's use this blue one. So I'll just drag it in there. And so because this is a page that's going to be everywhere, what I'll do is I'll pin it. And so when you pin that page, it automatically, everything will re-render, and you'll see the site as a whole. But I don't want this to scroll with my page. I want it to be fixed. And I want it to kind of overlap in the middle like that. So let's make this page a little wider. And so now you can see, even as I scale everything, it fits just how I like it. Maybe let's go a little bit. There we go. That's pretty cool. So this is really how you navigate making pages and kind of the general structure of any site. And if I wanted to, we're going to mess up the design that we made. But if I wanted to, I could actually, instead of doing these large images, what if I want to do thumbnails that link to all my pages, right? So inside of this page, let me delete these, right? And now I'm going to go back to the design tab, and in the thumbnail index, I'm going to turn this on, and we don't see anything yet. And that's because in order for pages to show up as thumbnails, you got to turn them on. And so I'll turn these pages on, and thumbnail index is visible on every page. Let's go back into that page and see why. Why aren't my thumbnails showing up? Not sure why my thumbnails are not showing up on this homepage right now, but we'll have to revisit that. But let me go back onto the templates page, and you can see. Let's find a template that has thumbnails. So this is a good example where these are the image inside of your page, and it'll just show a thumbnail of that page, and you can create this index of all of your pages. And by going into this page, you can see the thumbnail that will end up being used, and I can drag a new image there. I can go, choose that image, and let me save that. So there's and then like someone's audio is on. I don't know who that is, but if you don't mind turning your audio off. Oh, here, I got it. There we go. And so the next big thing is mobile adjustments. And, you know, you always want to have control over how your site looks on the phone. I'm going to go back into this page, into this home page. I'm going to drag these images in there. And I'm going to go down to this mobile adjustments menu. And so if I start changing some of this stuff, I can see that, you know, I can change the scale of the text, but I don't want the logo overlaying in this situation. So I'm going to go back to the content tab and I'm going to click into that page, right? I'm going to rename this to logo. And if I go to pin settings, I can turn that off. And now this should not show up on the phone anymore. So if I go back to my design tab, and I turn this on, now you can see that that page is gone. So we just have this navigation on the top, and you know, I actually don't even want that. I'm gonna go back to my content tab, and on my navigation page, oops. On my navigation page, I'm gonna turn that off, and I'll go back, and now I can start toggling this, and you can see your site as it would be on the phone. If I go back to the content tab and I open up one of these pages, you know, while you're in this view, you can edit your site and go back and forth in between. So it's pretty robust in terms of control over what you want to do on the phone as opposed to the desktop. And if you wanted, you can even go into this pin. I'll go into the logo page, right? I can duplicate this. So let's duplicate this and let's go to the mobile view and I'll open up the pin settings and I'll show this one on mobile, but I'll hide it on desktop. So now I have just a mobile page with my logo, but instead of making this page have this large logo that overlays everything, what I want to do is have it push the content down. And I did that by clicking this adjust option. And basically what that will do is anything that this page interacts with, it will make space for the height of that page. So now I want to select this image, right? And I'm going to scale it down a little bit. Oh, it's an SVG, so actually what I'll do is I'll upload another image, and let's just say this rock is my logo. I'll select it and scale it down. And I'll turn off this option, maximize image width. So now that will listen to what I want it to do on mobile. And again, this is just a mobile adjustment that will change how everything appears on mobile. So if you want your images to be maximized on the phone, you can check this on. And if you want them to be listen to the width that you apply to them, then you can go in and override all of those widths, and you can rotate it. You can do whatever you want with that image. So we're running a little short on time, but I do want to show you guys a little thing that we just launched, which I mentioned earlier, which is commerce. And in order to use commerce, which by the way, that is included in your promo code that you're going to be using with CalArts, you can go to this commerce menu on the settings tab and click try out cargo commerce. And now you have a whole new tab that has commerce. And so you can go and make a product. You can manage your orders once you get them. There's a settings tab, of course, with, you know, you can create your shop. You can connect Stripe and PayPal. So let's go through real quick, just adding a product to your site. I think it'd be great, you know, to see some of you start selling some work or some prints or posters. So let's go into this page, and I want to add a button to add to the cart right here. And you see this commerce shop product. Well, we don't have anything as a product yet, so let's go to the commerce tab and let's add a new product. So let's call this a t-shirt, and I'm going to sell my t-shirts for $25. And my first batch of them, there's 100, and I'm going to ship them. So this is going to be about, I don't know, how much does a t-shirt weigh? A pound, 16 ounces. And the box that I'm shipping it in, let's say it's about 12 by 12 and maybe just 3 inches tall. I hit save. And now I can actually make I have two versions of the t-shirt, right? I have black and white, so I'll delete blue, and I'm gonna generate variants. So basically this means I have multiple versions of this product, but I want to have, I want people to be able to choose their size and their color. So let's add a new option. Let's call that size. So we have small, medium, and large, and I'll update that. And for the sake of speed, I'll just leave all these alone, but I can go in here and say, well, the black one, I only have 50 or so. And so now I can go into this page and I can add a way for people to purchase this. And so now we have some drop downs with black and white, with small, medium, and large. And you can start selling things on Cargo. So since we are short on time, I guess we should open this up to some questions. Let me see if I can.
But maybe mention briefly that since you built it from scratch, but of course you can take it and simply replace the comp.
Yeah, and so what we just did was walk through making a site from scratch that had no template, but on the templates page on Cargo, we can make a site starting from any other template. So let's start with this, and let's call this CalArts Demo 2, CalArts Demo 2. And so now we have a copy of this template, and you can simply just start hacking away at the content that was part of the template. So I'll delete this image, right? And I'm going to take those same images that I had for Object International, right? And now you have a good starting point to add your content based off of the template that you think probably works best with your type of content. So yeah, I'll let Bailey take control.
Yeah.
If we have any.
I was going to say, it looks like we had a question come in wanting to know more about the store feature. Kenneth, if you're still on the call, did that answer kind of some of your question about the commerce feature of Cargo?
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Great. And we also have another question from Alicia here. So she used the free promo code from us, but had already purchased a domain via Cargo. And then when put the promo code in, it says they're unable to complete the transaction. Please refresh the page and try again. I'm not sure, Rue and Folkert, if you know kind of how they get around, if they already had a paid subscription with Cargo, how do they then transition that site that they've built onto the free promo code?
You should be able to go into your account settings on your settings tab, and you should be able to add that promo code to your already upgraded site. But if you're having trouble like that, that sounds like there's maybe something wrong with the payment method that you're using. But you can always send us a message on support, and we'll help you figure that out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, so Alicia, I'd suggest you to go to the support page at cargo.site and send them an email.
and just so you know as well that domain names are actually separate because they're purchased separately from a site upgrade, and they don't really have anything to do with your site itself. But you can purchase a domain directly through Cargo and just you can have multiple if you want.
Yeah, it looks like we have some questions, and feel free if you do want now, if you want to unmute yourself and either, I mean, you can raise your hand or you can just kind of dive in as well if you do have a question.
Go for it.
I have a question. So what about like for the commerce feature, are you allowed to ship and do orders yourself, or like do those things go to an email and then it alerts you that somebody wants to purchase a t-shirt, or you do it all directly there, like through that?
All of it happens in your admin. So
Oh, that's
when
awesome.
so when you get an order, here, let me open up, which one did we add? Oh, right, yeah. Here, actually, I can open, oh, I don't want to open up that one. But I can show you guys, so here on this orders tab, you'll actually get an order that you can open up. You can choose to send tracking. We have a few third-party connections with Shippo and EasyPost, which will auto-calculate shipping based off of the location of the customer and wherever you specify. You can send a tracking email. So every aspect of adding a product to checking out, to a customer checking out, to getting the order and processing it happens in your Cargo admin. And to answer your other question, yes, you'll get an email whenever you get an order, and that'll have a link to pop it open in your admin.
I see. And then is there like anything on the site where people can leave, what do you call it? Like they say if their order was good, if they liked it, like to get feedback on how.
Like reviews maybe, or.
Yeah, exactly. Like, is there something like that? Like, oh, leave a comment or leave a review, or, you know, something like that.
We don't have anything like that implemented as of yet, because we just launched this. But you know, we're listening to what people want to do further. So
Okay.
we'll note that as a suggestion.
Okay, great. And then one other thing about the slideshows,
Mhm.
is there a way when people are viewing it that they automatically are sliding, or do they have to click on them to see the next slide? Like, how does it look from a visitor's view?
Yeah, so you have all those options. So I'm going back into this page. You can still see my screen. So I'm going to select 2 images and I'll make a slideshow. And so you have all those options. So there's an autoplay option. I can show navigation or hide it. I can choose, you know, how long the delay between the effect is. So this is really fast, or the transition. So you have pretty much full control over how you want this to appear.
Okay, perfect. And then sorry to take up so much time. One quick last
Oh, no
thing.
problem.
About the domain name. Like, what if you are specific and you're like, I want my website to be called www.pinklady.com or something like that? Like, can you control that? Can you?
Yeah, I mean, you can. So if you have a domain that you've already purchased, you can on the support site, you'll find instructions to point that to your site. But you can buy a domain right from your admin. So what was the one you wanted? Pink Lady?
Yeah, I'm just making it up, like Greece, you know, the Pink Ladies or whatever. Let's just say, like, for example, you wanted that exact name.
Let's search Pink Lady domain. And so you can buy this right in your admin, and it'll be automatically added to your site.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay. Wow. Okay, got it. And then, oh yeah, and then real quick, one last thing. Is this only for Cal Artians, or like, do other people have the option to use the, you know, services?
Yeah, so I just not to speak for Cargo, but yeah, their site is open to the world. Anyone can get a domain on there and start using the software to build out their site. Our promo code that I did, just as a reminder to everyone, I did put it in the chat. So if you had not already seen that as a recent alum or a current student, you get a free site. As a current student, it renews every single year. We ask that you don't share that promo code with like a friend or a partner from another that doesn't go to CalArts or something. I mean, we can't completely control that in some ways, but because you don't have to use like an alum.calarts.edu email to actually use it or anything. It's not tied to your actual like CalArts ID in any way, but we ask that just in good faith that people don't share that widely, that it's meant to be for students at CalArts, but it renews every year, so it's a different code every year. So if say like somebody external somehow gets one of those codes and uses it, they might not get the renewed code the next year, but we will be sharing it with all current students every year, so that at least while you're a student at CalArts, it's free. And then for this graduating class, we have a different code. It expires 1 year after you activate it. So even if you're like, I think I want to start my site, but not until like August, like I'm not really ready yet. Once you activate it in August, it's good for 1 year, regardless. It's just following how long you've had it activated for. And I put those further up in the chat as well, in case you missed those.
Yeah, I see it.
And I wanted to say, let's see, it looks like we have another question from Kenneth here. How can you embed video and sound? Are there any file requirements on Cargo?
No. So we actually recommend that you use Vimeo or YouTube. They have entire they have years and years behind them of making videos load fast, and we specialize in the site making rather than the video hosting. But you definitely can host your own videos and make your own. But I'll go in and let's take this
Mr. Coleman
Joe Rogan video, and we'll go into my page, and you can just, actually we want to take the embed code, right? So you can take the embed code of any video. Let's see, where is the embed code? There we go. So much stuff on a YouTube page, and now you can't find it. So you can go into your page, copy the embed code, and just paste it, and it'll automatically get formatted into your page. And you can actually now select a video and treat it just like an image. You can scale it. You can rotate it if you want.
Sweet.
Yeah. Oh, and I actually forgot to show you guys something that I would like to show you. If you want, on your page, if you want to make let's say you want to make a video as your backdrop. So this whole page now can have a video in the background. So I'm just going to copy this URL. Where was I? And I'm going to paste that in there. And now that's the video that's in the background of my page. And we also have a bunch of other fun effects that you can do with images. So there's a gradient option. There's parallax. You can do some pretty cool, this is that like vintage film effect you see in old movies. Where is it? You can do like there's a halftone effect. And you can even have these animate on mouse interaction. There's a lot of fun stuff you can do with backdrops inside of a page.
Awesome. And somebody else asked, Emma asks, can you, on top of the last question, can you add video files to a slideshow?
So that is possible. Actually, now with all of it. Yeah, so we actually just added support for that. And you should be able to just drag a video right into your slideshow. And if you, what page did I have that slideshow on? So if I go into this slideshow, if you see, I start dragging, I can change the, here, let's add another one just so you can see. So if I start dragging, you can change the order of things inside of the slideshow. So if you have a video, you can paste it outside of your image gallery and just drag it right in.
Cool, that's great. One other question I wanted to, oh, sorry, someone, awesome. So one other thing somebody asked was, can you, and this is a little tangential to Cargo, can you host video in Compass, which is our career services management site we mentioned earlier? And the reason we're actually, a big reason that was a push to partner with Cargo is the answer is no. Within Compass, your own profile, like your own professional profile, can host things like your resume and some documents. It's not really used as your portfolio site in the way that our former software we used, Common Space, kind of acted in that way a little more. It's meant to be that you have like some of your documents, the stuff you might apply to jobs with in that public profile, and that there's a space up at the top for you to link out to your website, which hopefully is if you don't already have one, is Cargo then, where you can build all of this out within that. So hopefully, Alexi, that answers your question a little more.
And if you wanted to, let's say, have your PDF on your site, when you're inside of the images menu within any page, this little file icon, you can upload, non-image based files, and that includes videos. But again, we recommend that you use a hosted solution for those, because you're just going to have a much better performance with that.
It's similar to the way that we have, like, you're suggesting like YouTube or Vimeo, they're best at hosting these larger files. Similar, like our thing within a thing is like on Compass, we can't really host your site or your profile. That's where it's hosted on Cargo. So, but yeah, does anyone else have any questions? So I wanted, before we go, I wanted to remind everyone we are recording this and we'll be able to share it first via Drive and just email. So please reach out to the Center for Life and Work or me if you want the recording to kind of like go through and actually start building out your site. Remember that the technical support page exists right there, support.cargo.site. And eventually the videos like this will live on our Graduate site that we are building out with the alumni team, which will be a large digital resource library where we'll have workshop recordings and a lot of other professional development materials. So everyone's going to be getting more messaging about that throughout the summer as we build out that resource library on there. I wanted to also remind everyone before we go that we offer advising services through the Center for Life and Work. You can sign up on Compass under counseling appointments for advising on various topics with anyone. But if you do want advice on your portfolio, like on what to include and, like kind of a more tailored version of this for yourself and like how to best represent what you're working on, you can sign up for an advising appointment with our life and work advisor, Natasha Jones, on there, or you can email any of us for some advice or a look at your portfolio, because we want to not only give you the software to build it and the how to build it, we want to help you design it so that it's best used for your own art practice and store or whatever you want to make out of that. So great. Well,
you can on the support page, you'll see that we have a bunch of very similar to what we just did, but specific to some of the existing templates. You can see how we achieved the layout and design of a few other templates through a walkthrough video just like this that's pre-recorded. And then as you go through the support site, you'll see anything else that you're trying to do. So you can search for backdrop. Let's see. You'll actually find little video clips of everything else that you're looking to add to your site. So yeah, and as well as our support team is always on the clock to help you figure out what you're trying to do.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Rue and Folkert and everybody at the Cargo Collective for leading this workshop and for partnering with us to get our students' online portfolios up and running throughout the summer.